So what is inside a bread machine and how do it works? I've got one here that has been dying for quite a while. It's 9 years old. It's been a very good bread machine. It has two drive belts in it, so it mixes the mix very well. But the belts down below that connect these two together, see they're still driving together, turn one and the other one turns. But the belt through to the motor on the side has given out. It's been giving out for a little while. Little bits of rubber have been dropping out the bottom. There's all these vents in the bottom, and each time for the last 3 or 4 times we cooked bread, there's been a little assortment of rubber dropping through the bottom and ending up on the bench below it. So I knew something was going on. And this time, when it was mixing, it would sort of mix, make the right noise, and then it would go, and the motor would spin really quickly without actually driving the bread. So I knew that it was on its last legs, and then actually set this on a timer. So it cooked while I was asleep last night, and the bread wasn't very well mixed. So anyway, we've pulled it all apart, and yeah, here's how it works. There's a drive belt here. You can see it, a tooth drive belt, which runs between those two cogs. You see there's a little cog up the top there. And then there's supposed to be another toothed drive belt running between this big cog and the motor. As you can see, it's not quite working anymore. All the teeth have come off on the underneath here. So that's what's been stripping out, and the rubber that's been dropping out. But then overnight as it's run, it's yeah, totally cacked itself. It's fully off there and just in pieces. As I pulled it apart, there were bits of rubber belt on the inside. So it's cactus. The actual baking tin inside, the bottom had fallen off and I had it wired back on. So I'm not going to bother to try and get the belt and replace it, because at 9 years old, by the time we do all that mucking around and then put it all back together again, I'm actually just going to replace it. So now this is there's a video I put up. I'll put a link just up here in the corner to how to get security screws undone. This had security screws on the bottom, and it was just incredibly hard to get through to the base to where these drive belts are. They were screwed through this plate here down into the base, so you had to access that from the top. There were also these screws around the outside, 6 of them. They were the ones that had the security screws. You could get to those from the bottom, no problem, but you couldn't get the bottom off because of these screws that were through the plate here. And even to get to those, here's all the circuitry and control board that's inside, but there's a little capacitor here, and even that was screwed down on top of one of the mounting screws. You can see there, another one through there, and then around the outside edge. And this was totally inaccessible. We actually had to undo, this is the heat part where it cooks, this is the bottom edge of it. This, where it was screwed down onto the heating element plate here, we had to pull that apart so that we could again get the top off and get into it. So very, very much designed not to come apart. And as I was working at it, I did actually smash a nice big hole in it in the side there, so it's another part of the reason why I'm not going to repair it. But it's come to that point where it's just not going to be worth the effort when I can go and get, you know, a nice new one with a warranty. So we've got a really big robust motor here. That's that thing on the top, the white blob, that's the fan to keep this motor cool. So while it's running, this is the strong motor is all about turning the bread mixing blades here, and that's the belt setup that you saw underneath. That's what's actually failed on this. The motor itself is super strong and doing fine. And there's all the control panel. It's got all of its timers, and when it, you know, when it does all different things and melts and kneads and all that. So that's all controlled by that circuit board. And then there was a wire just plugged in here that went between this system here up to the control panel. Here's the wire inside. I just clipped that off so I could get the lid off, and that goes up. That's the back of the control panel there. Turn him over. See, that's the control panel there with all of your timers and times and things like that. So that's how it works. That's all the inside. It's basically a big motor to do the mixing, and there's a heating element there. This part here is the heating element to do the baking and the warming, and that's what she is inside. But this one, I probably should show you the brand. I've probably shown you that already. It's an Aldi brand, and it's now toast, but totally not designed to be pulled apart. Is these security screws, these guys here, these little ones. See, I had to specially adapt a screwdriver, so go back to that other link and you'll see how I specially adapted a screwdriver so that I could even get those out. But not designed to be serviced. And this one, 9 years is a reasonable life service, I suppose, although this to get in storage for a period of time. But she's done. So if you've got any other bread stories, please stick it in the comments so people can hear the stories, repairs that you were able to do, repairs you weren't able to do. Would love to hear about it.